Welcome to this video on protecting large financial payouts meant for minors. Today, we will discuss how to manage funds now, avoid impulsive access at age 18, and set up guardrails that align with your goals. We will examine flexible options, when and why trusts are powerful, the risks of custodial accounts, and the importance of legal and educational preparation. Along the way, we will include quizzes, diagrams, and a step-by-step plan. Let's begin by laying out our roadmap. Here is the agenda. First, we will define the 18-year problem and why it matters. Next, we will discuss a controversial but practical approach to handling funds. Then, we will compare trusts to other account types. After that, we will cover education funding options and custodial Roth IRAs. Next, we will move into a practical, step-by-step action plan. Finally, we will highlight key pitfalls and safeguards before wrapping up with a summary and calls to action. The core challenge is simple but urgent. At the age of majority, typically 18 or 21 depending on the state, many custodial accounts grant the child full control. That can mean impulsive spending that undermines college, housing, or lifelong financial security. Consequently, we need strategies that postpone unfettered access while still funding important needs along the way. To address this, we will look at flexible holding structures, targeted education funding, and robust legal guardrails. Before we go further, please note this is not legal, tax, or financial advice. Everyone's situation is different, and laws change by jurisdiction. You should consult a qualified estate planning attorney and tax professional who can tailor strategies to your goals and ensure proper execution. Here is a controversial yet practical approach. If your total estate is well below the federal estate tax exemption threshold, you may consider holding and investing the funds in your own name initially. This can preserve flexibility to pay for immediate needs, enhance the child's quality of life, and fund education through tax-advantaged 529 plans. However, recognize the trade-off. Flexibility means fewer formal guardrails. If you feel you need strict control, then a well-drafted trust becomes the superior option. In short, flexible now usually means personal holding, while strict control typically means establishing a trust with an estate attorney. Meanwhile, avoid placing substantial sums into custodial accounts like UTMA or UGMA because of the risk of granting full access at the age of majority. Let's compare two core paths. On the left, personal holding maximizes flexibility and is simple to start, which is ideal if you are funding education and immediate needs. However, it relies on your continued capacity and requires good estate documents for continuity. On the right, trusts provide strong control over when and how funds can be used, such as delaying distributions to 30 or 35 and allowing spending only for education or housing. They do involve setup costs and ongoing administration. Transitioning from one approach to the other later is possible, but it must be done thoughtfully with professional guidance. This flowchart walks you through a practical decision path. First, determine whether your estate is near the federal estate tax exemption. If yes, consult an attorney about advanced trust and tax planning immediately. If not, ask whether you need strict control now. If you do, establish a trust and name successor or professional trustees, and set distribution ages. If not, consider holding funds personally in diversified accounts. In all cases, fund 529s as appropriate and avoid large balances in UTMA or UGMA. Ensure your will, guardian designations, and powers of attorney are in place. Then review annually and adjust as circumstances change. Here is a 7-step plan. First, clarify the purpose of the funds, including education, housing support, emergency reserve, or a staged inheritance. Second, assess your estate size relative to the federal exemption to determine whether advanced tax planning might be necessary. Third, decide whether you need maximum flexibility or strict control. Fourth, if you choose flexibility, hold the funds personally and fund 529 plans for education. Fifth, if you need strict guardrails, hire an estate attorney to draft a tailored trust and name successor or professional trustees. Sixth, avoid large UTMA or UGMA balances to prevent automatic access at the age of majority. Seventh, draft or update your will, guardianship nominations, and powers of attorney, and schedule annual reviews to keep everything current. Trusts provide strong control. You can delay distributions by setting ages or milestones such as 25, 30, and 35. You can also restrict usage to specific categories, including education, housing, or health.
If you need continuity or oversight, you may name a professional trustee. Be sure to coordinate the trust with your life insurance and other beneficiary designations so assets flow where you intend.
UTMA and UGMA accounts are convenient but risky for large sums. Control typically transfers to the child at the age of majority, often 18 or 21, which can result in unrestricted spending. For that reason, consider trusts or personal holding for significant balances, and if you use UTMA at all, keep it modest and intentional. 529 plans offer tax-deferred growth and tax-free withdrawals for qualified education expenses. They can cover tuition, fees, and in some states and plans even certain K-12 or trade program expenses. As the account owner, you usually retain control and can change beneficiaries, which is a key advantage compared to custodial accounts. If you overfund, review options such as beneficiary changes, possible rollovers, or penalty-aware withdrawals according to current rules.
Custodial Roth IRAs can be excellent for teens who have earned income. Contributions are limited to the lesser of the teen's earned income or the annual limit. The long time horizon magnifies the power of compounding. Use this tool primarily for education and investing discipline, rather than as a short-term spending source. This timeline illustrates how to map structure and spending rules to milestones. Immediately after receiving the payout, select the appropriate vehicle and hire an attorney. In years 1 through 5, fund 529s and invest prudently. Around age 13, begin formal money education with small discretionary budgets. At 16, if the child has earned income, consider opening a custodial Roth IRA. At 18, avoid automatic control transfers by not relying on large UTMA balances. Ensure a trust or parental control remains in place. Then consider partial distributions in the mid-20s, with final distribution around 35 if that aligns with your goals. This mind map organizes the strategy around 4 pillars. Control options include trusts, personal holding, and intentionally avoiding large UTMA or UGMA balances. Goals focus on education, housing support, and emergency readiness. Tools include 529 plans, a will and powers of attorney, and potentially a professional trustee. The education pillar covers allowance and budgeting, investing basics, and using a Roth IRA when the child has earned income. Keep all 4 aligned for a resilient plan. This table provides a rough comparison. Personal holding typically has low setup and ongoing costs, and you retain control, but you must ensure proper estate documents for continuity. Trusts have medium to higher setup costs and some administration, but they provide strong control and can prevent access at 18 according to the trust terms. UTMA and UGMA accounts are easy and inexpensive to start, but they generally grant access at the age of majority and therefore are risky for large sums. Quiz time. Which account type most commonly grants a child full control at or shortly after age 18, making it risky for large balances? Your options are A. Trust with delayed distributions, B. UTMA or UGMA custodial account, C. 529 college savings plan, and D. Personal holding in the parent's name. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is B. UTMA or UGMA custodial account. These accounts typically transfer control at the age of majority, often 18 or 21, which is why they may be unsuitable for large balances. Second quiz. What is a key advantage of using a trust when managing a large payout for minors? Options are A. It guarantees higher investment returns. B. It eliminates all taxes automatically. C. It allows you to control when and how funds are distributed. And D. It does not require any legal counsel. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section. The correct answer is C. Trusts provide control over timing and permitted uses. They do not guarantee higher returns, eliminate all taxes, or remove the need for qualified legal counsel. This diagram illustrates how a trustee might process a distribution request. The request is submitted, and the trustee first checks whether the purpose aligns with the trust's allowed categories, such as education, housing, or health. If the purpose is allowed, the trustee then checks whether the beneficiary has met a relevant age milestone. If the milestone is met, the payment is approved. If not, the trustee either denies or approves a partial payment
based on the trust language. If the purpose is not allowed, the request is denied with guidance on permissible alternatives. This process ensures consistency and adherence to the trust's objectives. Here are common pitfalls to avoid. Do not rely on large UTMA or UGMA balances for big payouts. Do not neglect estate documents or successor planning. Do not underestimate the importance of trustee selection and oversight. Ensure distributions align with education and life goals. Finally, invest in financial education early. That is often the most valuable inheritance. To summarize, start by defining your goals, and then choose a structure that balances flexibility and control. Trusts are powerful tools for avoiding the 18-year cliff and limiting spending to your priorities. 529 plans help you manage education with owner control. Custodial Roth IRAs build discipline and long-term growth when teens have earned income. Keep all documents current and review with professionals annually to stay aligned with changing laws and family needs. Thank you for watching. If this was helpful, please like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more deep dives. In the comments, tell us your biggest question about balancing flexibility and control for minors. What would you prioritize, and why? Your insights can help others plan better.